Well, I hit GM, solo queue, and I have no idea how I did it. No, literally, I don't know how. It's like I was climbing ranks, right? So I blast past Plat and hit Diamond. It is there I get the idea, in quotation marks, to make it the Grandmaster. Well, it's more rewarding than Overwatch ever really was, and I still spent a lot of blood, sweat, and tears, not to mention time on it. I don't mention it because I have a significant amount of my precious time here on this earth spent playing in gold and Plat lobbies. Yeah. Yeah. So that be where I'm from, barely plat in Overwatch. I thought my climbing through the ranks would fizzle out around mid-diamond at best, because I thought, yeah, I have more experience with hero shooters than the scrubs in the lower melon ranks, so this might be my first time making it a diamond in a hero shooter. And as I played, something became very apparent to me. I had a match in bronze, and I won't forget this match as long as I live, because I now also have a video that will remind me of it. But in this match, an enemy squirrel girl was dominating, like the most kills on the enemy team, but they were still losing pretty badly. It's that I didn't pay much attention to the squirrel girl and thought she was a plat player displaced because of the 7th division rank reset, therefore farming actual bronze players. This one occurrence would change my perception on that, however. I was on Doctor Strange, holding my barrier up. She waltzes on past my barrier on low ground with my team behind me without a care in the world, and she dies. Which finally, after a long monologue, brings me to the topic of this video. If you're stuck in the low ranks, I'm sorry, you're doing it all wrong. This game is new. A lot of stuff hasn't been discovered about it yet, but there have been ways established on how to play many of the characters in the roster correctly. Look at Wolverine, for example. In the beginning of Season 0, everybody thought he was booty cheeks, but one or two reads on the official Marvel Rivals website, seriously, why isn't this information about the characters in the actual game? People learned he does percentage-based damage to health pools. Initially, people were playing him like a flanker who focuses on the supports, and he's not really good at that. What he's good at, though, is making a tank player's life a miserable living hell.
Why are you running? Why are you running?
He gets value from forcing you to stop and respect him, as well as forcing you to use your cooldowns in order to escape the ensuing barrage of damage from him and his team when he kidnaps you into them. Therefore, playing him in ways that don't utilize his kit is kinda stupid. And let me tell you, this tank kidnapper way of playing him has made him one of the most banned hero in the game for me. I play tank predominantly, and he can make the game be about who has the better read, since he completely shuts down most tanks. So lesson here is, know the character you are playing. What do they want to do? How do they want to do it? Like, I play a lot of Hulk. What is Hulk? Well, he's the game's best disruptor. He forces the enemy team to look at him. How does he want to do it? By ideally pouncing on the enemy backline and forcing them to deal with him or lose their heals, or a DPS, which in the process accomplishes the main job of the tank, making space. Regardless if he gets a kill or not, he gives room for his team to make it to the point or through a choke. Whatever, you get what I mean. How come I'm on GM while pouncing around like a headless chicken on most of the games I play and can't really hit squads because my aim isn't what it used to be? Like, it's been a bit of a downhill ever since I quit playing DPS and Overwatch years ago. Anyway, I think a majority of it is luck and getting good teammates, or that right there might just be the good old imposter strategy I'm talking, because I don't really feel I'm as good as my fellow counterparts in GM.
They ask you how you are, and you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't get into it because they would never understand.
I'm on console, so that makes it easier because of factors like being harder to aim, giving me some more leeway when it comes to diving in and out without too much pressure on me. If you're any good at the game, you might see the mistakes I made in the game footage in front of you. It's just I think I climbed to the main factor of skill being that I just do the simple stuff most don't. I push in just enough to make the enemy react to me and therefore giving more room to my DPS to do their job, since I'm drawing a lot of fire here, or I feed my brains out. Shockingly, not shocking at all. To make this more general, in Overwatch there's this faux pas of positioning all the would-be guides mentioned because it's very important. But if you're in the lower ranks, you really don't know what it means. Hell, I really don't know either. But a simple tip I would give to you, to all of you, is to match the pace of the fight, and your team generally. You're up one, push a bit further, take more space. Your support, uses an ult like Cloak and Daggers, Mantises, Lunar Snows, etc., and it's time to amp up the fight, barring the Iron Man ult or taking more damage than the ult's heal, which is pretty rare on that last one. You ramp up the fight because you're essentially immortal. You get picks ideally and win the fight. But what you don't do is when your team is retreating, go in for kills. Was this the best tip? No, and it depends on situation to situation, but it should get you out of gold or to gold, because in bronze, or otherwise known as the Wild West, people just use ultimates seemingly willy-nilly.
Judge, jury, execution!
And you can't force them to play the right way or play for them, so you're going to have to adapt to their playstyle. But look at it like this. You probably are going to lose some games you play even if you're a rank or two higher than your bronze teammates. I lost a game or two in plat too, but since I guess I'm playing marginally better than the rest of the players on the match, I climbed out of there. Now let's think about it. Does it matter if you hit GM or not? Are you unemployed? Well, technically I ain't unemployed and am simultaneously, but that's neither here nor there. And keep in mind, I only wanted to push for gold this season because of the free Invisible Woman skin. And after that I decided I wanted the title mark thingy. Yeah, a week went on that nonsense, and a couple of days when I had to climb back up after I dropped a few ranks as of the recording of this video, although I did it pretty quick the first time. 65% win rate, solo queue in about 110 games, and now I work my own shaft because this doesn't matter in real life. Yeah, I have fun in high ranks, what I consider high ranks being diamond higher, and I get a bit more of a thrill playing comp compared to quick play, but am I going to go for this same thing next season? I don't know if I'm going to play more competitive this season let alone the next. Though knowing me, I will probably play more for the thrill and out of the fear of losing my mediocre skill and not losing this stupid rank. Although I might become like one of those rare players you see in Overwatch Gold lobbies with a top 500 player icon, but fell off since the early seasons of Overwatch 1. Like, I don't much know about the team compositions in this game. I go for, are you good at what you play? Then I don't care which hero you play, just get value. But I know of the triple support meta, and that is going to kill comp, or more accurately, without the hyperbole, wound it quite a bit, because most of the player base are DPS mains, and it's unfun when there's always an ult used to negate your ult. It's also unfun to go against it on tank. Like, playing Savages, in comparison to the other roles, it's much easier, and I know this because I dabble as a support once in a while, and generally is more relaxing. I also quite like it, so it makes it really annoying to have all the value you provide be halted at the press of a button, or two buttons in the case of console, from say a Luna, which is simpler than playing Spider-Man. Yes, the support ults are there to counter the broken DPS ults, and individually they're fine. It's just when you get 3 of these in one team, and it becomes that if you are lacking another similar high healing output ult, that it's a problem. Like, you have a Rocket or Adam and an Invisible Woman as your supports, while the enemy team has a Cloak and Dagger with an Invisible Woman. You're at a disadvantage. They have less things to worry about. You use your ult as Invisible Woman to cancel out a Star-Lord ult. Then the Psylocke ults you and kills your team, while they don't have the same problem. Adam's ult is situational, because why not have an ult that keeps you from dying by pumping you up with healing up the wazoo, instead of one that brings you back from the dead, at the nearly dead state. And Rocket is flat out not as good as the other ults you could have on your team. I don't think it's bad, but you aren't happy to see it like you are when you see your Luna ult, because it doesn't impact the fight how the other support ults do. It's meant to be a signal to deal crazy damage to the enemy because of the damage boost, but you've got to worry about not dying from the enemy damage. I don't have any evidence for this, but I feel you and your team do more damage in a Cloak and Dagger ult, bum rushing the enemy team due to the almost complete lack of fear from dying. This is a tricky issue to solve in a good way. Back to what I was talking about earlier, is that players are only going to get better past this point, and is it worth the time investment for me or you guys to play like your life depended on it, while little Timmy, who's actually what you would consider an adult, keeps on crying into the mic? Well, I say, This is the best season to climb, since most of the players are booty chicks right now, and the ranks may still be disjointed, less than they were before, but still a little, so you may get a diamond player in your gold/silver lobby who carries you to victory. And yeah, well, anyway, best of luck to you. Now, get lost.